situation remains tense this morning in Mozambique as the opposition is claiming widespread election fraud. It joins Zimbabwe as the Southern African Development Community countries with disputed election results. The African Union and the European Union have condemned the post-election violence, while SADC remains mum. Meanwhile, Botswana is also heading to the polls next week. Well, to discuss all of this, I'm joined now by Mabato Mungai from Good Governance Africa. Good morning, Mabato. Well, the exercise of democracy is a good thing, we are told, in terms of good governance. And there's been a couple of elections, including here at home this year in our neighborhood. I mean, Mozambique has just held an election on the 9th of October. The results are being disputed. There was a protest march just the other day in Maputo and other parts of Mozambique. I mean, how are we seeing, when you look at the exercise of democracy in the region, how are we looking at the moment?
So it's two things. Morning, Braden, first of all, morning, and thank you for having me. So I think two things at once, right? On the one hand, the fact that a third of African countries are either have gone through or are yet to go through elections, and most of them, or a number of them also being in the Southern African region. That is a sign of, I suppose, a healthy democracy and a maturing, perhaps, and revitalizing democracy. But there's a difference between having regular election versus the quality of these elections. The fact that we saw what happened in Zimbabwe, we see what's happening in Mozambique, and we are yet to see what will happen in Botswana, and we also saw what happened in South Africa. So it's a good sign, but it's a whole different conversation if you're now going to be speaking about the quality of these elections and therefore democracy and governance.
Yeah, seemingly, I mean, opposition parties like we're seeing in Mozambique